Dobermans are the only breed in the world conceived and created for the specific purpose of personal protection of humans. So, that begs a question. Who is a superior guard dog? Male or female Dobermans? We're answering that today in no uncertain terms. This isn't going to be my opinion or what traditional thinking has told us about the answer to this question. Nope, today we're using cold, hard data. Using the results of a recent behavior study that we conducted and published right here at Doberman Planet about the differences in behaviors between male and female Dobermans, along with some data crunching of trial results of dogs competing in protection sports, we're going to use all this and give you a solid answer to this question, along with tons of data to back it up. You're only getting this kind of in-depth and completely original insight and research into the Doberman breed right here at Doberman Planet. So please show your support, hit that subscribe button down below, and let's jump straight into it. We just recently published the results on our website from a behavior study that we conducted right here at Doberman Planet in-house, where we surveyed 131 Doberman owners about the behaviors of their Dobermans, and only owners who had experienced owning both a male and female Doberman were invited to participate. So these are owners who have personal first-hand experience with both sexes of dogs, and they're just in a great position to compare them and contrast them. We learned a ton about this breed, guys, thanks to the survey. I'm so excited. This includes some really cool insight into which dog makes a better protection dog. This is truly groundbreaking stuff that we published for free online for everyone to see our results. So thank you, a big, giant thank you to those who participate in this study. Seriously, guys, you guys are amazing. Okay, guys, we're gonna go a little fast here because there's a lot of data, but basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna rate each behavior in this survey as it pertains to what's desirable for a protection dog to have. The winner of each category will get a little check mark on this handy little scorecard right here on your screen, and whoever has the most desirable traits will get the most check marks at the end, and that dog will win for the best protection dog. And where there's essentially a tie, they're both gonna get a check mark. So you get the point, let's get going. The first one that we're really concerned about when it comes to protection is this one, the assertiveness scale. How assertive is or was your male Doberman from 1 very shy to 10 very assertive? Take a look at the male response, 6.9 on average. Pretty interesting spread there. But now let's take a look at the female results here, 7.3 on average. This is definitely a little bit of a discrepancy here between the two. It looks like the females are a little bit more assertive, which I would say would be great for a protection dog. You definitely want an assertive, confident dog. So the females are gonna get that assertive check on their column, 1 point for the females. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one is training style. Now this doesn't matter as much because this is, first of all, look at this. It's a dead tie. 5 was the average score for both, which means that both dogs seem to learn best in their training approach with just kind of a 50-50 mix of both positive reinforcement and firm direction during training. So they're both gonna get a check for this one. Kind of evens out. All right, the next one we have is age at mental maturity. Now this is a big one because for a protection dog, you definitely want a dog who's gonna be calm as early as possible and kind of mature as soon as possible so you can start that training as early as possible in their development. Again, the quicker they mature and calm down, the quicker you can train them and at a younger age. Very critical. So for a protection dog, we want one that gets mature quick. Let's take a look at this. The male Dobermans, if I like to look at the dogs that mature by, let's say, 3 years of age at the latest. So I like to add up the yellow, the red, and the blue sections to kind of get an idea of which one matures faster. For the males, if you add all those up, it's 50%. So 50% of the males noticeably mature and calm down by the age of 3. Now let's look at the females real quick. Look at this. If you add up the blue section, the red section, and the yellow section here on this one, by the age of 3, it adds up to 71.74%. So basically 72%. So 50% of males by the age of 3 mature and calm down, 72% of females. That's a big difference. Females mature way quicker. We're giving them the check in that category for the protection dog. Let's go on to the next one. All right, energy levels. These are essentially the same. Males got 7 on average for their energy throughout on an average day. Females got 6.9. That's close enough. I'm going to give them both a blue check on, or excuse me, a green check on this one as well. Suspiciousness of strangers. This one is important because obviously a protection dog, you want them to be a little wary of strangers, a little bit, ready to protect, a little suspicious, not always super accepting. Accepting is nice when you're kind of socializing, but for a protection dog, you kind of want a little bit of suspicion. Let's look at the males first of all. Look at the males. They have a huge spike at 1, which is very accepting. They're incredibly accepting of strangers. Isn't that interesting? So their average score is 4.8. Let's look at the females now and see how that compares. Look at that. There's no spike in the number 1 column, but there is a couple spikes over here at the very suspicious edge of the scale. Their average is 6.1 on average, so 4.8 to 6.1. The females are definitely more suspicious of strangers than males, so they get a check in that mark, as I think that is a good trait for a protection dog to have. Let's go to the next one. Behaviors in new and unusual surroundings. This is obviously really important because you want a protection dog who's gonna be close to you, or at least checking in on you at all times and very owner focused. The last thing you want is a protection dog who kind of wanders off and goes wherever they want, obviously. So let's see how these two dogs, the males and the females, behave. What I really like to do though is I like to look at this one little sliver, the yellow sliver, because that's the problem. Those are the ones that leave you frequently and rarely check in. Those dogs are not going to be good protection dogs. So we want that yellow sliver as small as possible. Males, they have 9.2 is their yellow sliver, 9.2%. Now let's look at the females. Whoa, look at that. They couldn't even print it on here. It says data not shown. 5.4% is that yellow sliver. So 9.2% for males, 9.2% of males leave frequently and rarely check in with their owners, whereas only 5.4% leave rarely and or leave frequently and rarely check in. That's almost half. That's a big number. So the females definitely get a check in this mark as well. They check in often or stick close to their side. That's pretty important for a protection dog. Let's check the next one. Ability to read owner's emotions. Super important for protection dog. Hopefully that goes without saying. The better they can read their owner's emotions, the better they can accurately read a situation as to whether or not it's dangerous. The males, actually, I mean, that's pretty good. 7.3 on average. These Dobermans, they're very in tune with their owner's emotions. So this question is how in tune is your male Doberman with your emotions, from 1 to 10, 1 being not in tune at all, and 10 being very in tune. Now let's look at the females. Females, boom, look at that. Oh, it's like there's almost nothing. There's very few of them down in this area. Almost all of them are here. You just like comparing the two graphs, even just looking at the graphs, it's very different. The average for the females is 8.4. So 7.3 for the female. 7.3 for the males and 8.4 for the females. Females are definitely more in tune with their owner's emotions on average, and so they're going to get the check mark for that on their scorecard because that is a great trait of a protection dog. Let's move on to the next one. Bonding style. This is important for a protection dog. Now, there's two schools of thought. One school is you kind of maybe want the dog to bond with the whole family equally, but more often than not, for protection specifically, you want the dog to bond tightly to one person. So let's look at the bonding style of males. Bonding tighter to one person is the red section. That's 52.9%. So just over half, 52.9%, basically half bond tighter to one person than they do with an entire whole family for males. Let's look at the females. Look at that section. That is a lot bigger than half for the red. 67.8% of females bond noticeably tighter to one person as compared to the males, which is 52.9%. Which is basically half. This is a significant difference. Females bond tighter to one person, they get that check mark on their scorecard. Yet another point for the females. Off-leash behavior. We want more trustworthiness off-leash. Let's take a look. Off-leash behavior. How is your male Doberman off-leash? The blue section is they're trustworthy and they respond well to command. They respond to commands off-leash. The red section is a bad section. That doesn't always listen well off-leash. 52.2% of male Dobermans are very trustworthy and respond to commands off-leash. Let's look at the females. Females, noticeably bigger slice of the pie here, 58.6. It's fairly close, but they're still owner-focused dogs, but females have this one for sure. So 58.6% as for the females as compared to 52%. Again, yet another win for the females in the column. I think I see what's happening here. Let's take a look here. Now this is interesting. This last question was basically, I gave a long list of descriptors for the people taking the survey, asked them to pick the top 5 descriptive words that describe their dog the best. And I want to see kind of what the main traits were of each sex. So the males, the top 3 traits are loving, protective, and high energy. That's the top 3 traits that the owners picked for their males. Let's take a look at females. Loving and protective, that's the same as the males, but they picked owner focused. That's interesting. Let's go back. So high energy was a 3rd place for the males. For the females, the 3rd place was owner focused. That was the big difference. And if you think about that, that's actually significant. One of them is higher energy. Higher energy generally means a little bit less focus. The other one, the owner specifically picked owner focus. So I think for the top 3 traits, I think the top 3 traits on this list anyway for females is much more desirable. They get the win on this one as well. 2 for the males, 2 wins in their column, and 10 for the females. The females clearly have more desirable behaviors for a protection dog. Okay, that has to do with their natural behaviors, but how do each of these dogs actually perform when they're really engaged in protection behavior? Or is either one better than the other? Well, luckily there's an association called the Protection Sports Association, or the PSA, and they put on competitions where they gauge exactly this with their participants' dogs, and they publish their results for us. So the results we're using here are from their 2016 to 2019 seasons. So these results are a bit older, but it's the most comprehensive chunk of data that we could find on a sporting event so closely related to this topic, and one that lists the breed of each dog in the results as well. That was important for us to find. Okay, so first we downloaded all the data for all their trials. It actually included over 6,200 dogs. But then we deleted all the other breeds, so we're left with just Dobermans. That left us a pool of about 100 dogs or so. But then from those, we wanted to just keep the dogs that had a passing grade. So we cut out all the no passes as well, which reduced us down to about 40 dogs that met this criteria. And of those dogs that were left, we processed the data and crunched the numbers to find out who did better in the 2 main categories, obedience and protection work. And we broke it down by sex for you. We're moving down. Here's the averages. For males, for obedience, their average score is 64.09. For protection, their average score is 104.15. So their total score, take a look at this, for males, 168.24, as compared to females, 196.72 was their average total score. Even if you look at just protection ability alone, not counting obedience, the females still definitely win. Okay, but there was one problem with that data. We noticed that there were a lot of dogs that either appeared to compete twice or maybe had the exact same name as another dog. So what we did is we took those dogs that appeared to have competed twice, we put their scores together and averaged those for each individual entry, just to basically crunch the numbers a little differently. We don't have every little bit of data that we wish we could with these results. We're working with what we have from these trial results and their scores. But we process it that way, so just a little bit differently, just to see if the numbers would change noticeably. And take a look at this. Here's the averages when we did that. Pretty much the same difference. The female still won total score overall, 183. And even if you look at protection ability alone, again, 117 compared to 92. That's a significant difference. The females are still the winner, even when we start playing around with how we crunch these numbers and we crunch them just a little bit differently. Every way we did it, guys, the females were coming up as a higher average score with their protection ability. I do want to take a second to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video who made this video possible, Ollie Dog Food. Ollie uses whole vegetables and real clean human grade ingredients in all their foods. Ollie's food is minimally processed and it's just cooked at really low temperatures as a way to preserve the nutrients that are usually lost with normal dog food cooking techniques. They work very closely with vet nutritionists to design their meal plans, which are really nutritionally balanced and they're proportioned just right for your pup and your situation. And protein plays such an essential role in helping to build muscles and keeping our dogs healthy. And that's why Ollie uses only high quality animal protein They just use real chicken, beef, turkey, and lamb, and it's the first ingredient in every Ollie recipe. And they know the important science of pairing this animal protein with plant-based protein as well, such as peas, chickpeas, lentils, and other things, and it just provides a real complete and balanced protein source for our Dobermans. And we'll have the link to Ollie down below in the description, along with a coupon code that you can use to get a big discount off your first box. It's Doberman Planet, it's all caps, just like you see right now on your screen. So give Ollie a try, and I'm telling you, your pup is gonna thank you. Well, it's clear to me, guys, from both the behavior study and the trial results data from the Protection Sport Association that the females win this one. It's female Dobermans that are the superior guard dogs. Now, like always, every dog is an individual, and that individual dog's environment, training, experience, the handler, and of course their individual genetics and many other variables, frankly, are gonna make a huge difference as well. Also, we didn't rate the size or power of these dogs, of course, and males are a touch bigger. And so, although you can never say that a conclusion like this is universal, right? And it's gonna apply to every single time you put a male Doberman up against a female Doberman. But I can say that if someone forced me personally to decide which dog is generally a better guard dog and asked me to back up my choice with evidence, I'd fairly confidently say that a female Doberman is the better guard dog. Thanks for watching. Thank you for being part of all the original research and value we're bringing to Doberman owners everywhere here at Doberman Planet. We're gonna keep bringing you even more amazing insights into this breed, just as long as you hit that subscribe button down below and make sure all your notifications are turned on, of course, and definitely drop a comment. I love to hear what you think about all of this. There's a lot of information here. Keep being great breed ambassadors for perhaps one of the most impressive dog breeds on this planet. And of course, see you next time.